All right, listeners, what if people don't actually have a problem with your emotion, but more so a problem with the emotion coming from you? Before I was a professional, I was a person who learned very early that my feelings had a dress code. Not just what I felt, but how I was allowed to deliver it. I had to wrap that thing up. It had to have a bow. It had to be soft and pretty. I would pre-apologize for things because something that would read as confident from somebody else, baby, it reads as attitude when it comes from me. So think about this. Have you ever rehearsed your tone before having a hard conversation?
Yes.
Not the content, right? Thank you for the answers. Facts, right? Head nods all across the boardroom. And it wasn't the content, it was the tone. Have you ever had to change your face when you're having a conversation with someone or you're in a meeting, controlled your expression because you have to present as being calm? Because you're not always perceived as calm, and you recognize that that's going to be at a cost to you. Have you had to rewrite an email 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times so it sounded less intense? Or if you put a smiley face in there so someone didn't perceive you as having an attitude? Have you ever over smiled, extra punctuation, laughed when you weren't amused just to soften the room? Baby, today we're not talking about what you did with your emotion. We're talking about what was done to it. And more importantly, what it has cost you to keep editing yourself down to a size that other people can tolerate. Ooh, baby, we in it, episode 25. Stay in your seat for this one, y'all.
Yes, stay in your seat and get ready. This is the YesWork podcast, and we are your hosts. I'm Lady B.
Dr. DQ.
And I am Dr. Blaire.
Hey, ladies. We are living in a moment where people are being asked constantly to bring their whole selves to work. But the invitation has very small print because a whole self often means boring. You're not boring.
Sometimes you have to be boring.
That's
Boring.
real.
Be digestible
Yes,
at work.
that's real. That's the conversation
Take
right
all
there.
the sass, all the attitude, all the personality
all the
out. You
sounds,
have to be
all
boring.
that. I love that. So it can be boring, but it also means to bring yourself, but make sure that you are always palatable. So we are talking about the fact that emotional suppression is often rewarded. When something gets rewarded, we repeat it. We get
Yep.
promoted for it. We get called professional for it. And then we can't turn it off at home. We can't turn it off in our friendships, and we don't turn it off with our kids. So we are getting into the messages today. Black women receive about acceptable emotion, what we receive about church, what we receive about school, home, and how these messages become operating systems for us. So this episode is not about anger. It's about interpretation today. Who gets to be passionate? Who gets to be assertive? And who gets called aggressive for the exact same behavior? We are exploring, when does self control become self silencing? And what emotions feel safe for you to express? And which ones feel like they'll cost you something? So go ahead, like, share, and subscribe so you can get notifications and stay up to date with this conversation. We're getting real and holy up in
Come
here,
on.
okay?
Holy,
Up
holy,
in
holy.
here, up in here. Okay. So y'all already know, before we really dive deep, let's just make sure that we call out some examples so that we really know how to apply this conversation and how it relates. So here's the first example I'm going to throw at y'all. Think about the last time you had a hard feeling at work, frustration, disappointment, or maybe you was just tired. Why would you be tired? I'm just playing, because we know y'all be tired.
We know.
We know. But
We
your
do.
first instinct wasn't to feel it. It was to manage how it looked on your face. Okay? Not process it, not even address it. Just control the exterior so no one could really see the interior.
Yep.
That is not emotional regulation, because when you call it regulation, that means you feel it, you process it, and you respond thoughtfully. Instead, what I just described is emotional suppression. Feeling something and immediately suppressing it to stay acceptable in the room. Okay. So I feel like a lot of people can probably relate. And he didn't just do that once, you've done it so long, you don't even realize you do it anymore. And it's all under this facade of being professional.
Yep.
Okay.
Or even going deeper, because I recognize that we're speaking in this space of professionalism, but I know I've also edited when it comes to like, okay, me and the husband are doing real good right now. Even though I'm mad, he saw me wipe this table down and then he made this sandwich and all these crumbs are right here. And I'm like, I
Mhm.
suppress what I want to say because I'm like, well, we good. You know what I'm saying? We just had a little double date. We doing real good. I just want to keep that
Yes.
good vibe. But
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes. Being palatable in your
Yes.
relationships.
So I
Mhm.
can't express like, "Hey, I'm frustrated because you saw me pour you smell the bleach. You know it's clean in here. You can just wipe this counter." And
Mhm.
that may be a small thing, but, like, how often do we do that and then
No.
it builds up
I mean, I
and
think
then
big or small, it's relevant, it's
yes.
applicable. If
Yes.
I have asked you to put something in the pantry that you left on the counter.
12
Mm.
times.
Those things.
Yeah. All right. Yes.
We love our husbands.
Great point. Absolutely. Wouldn't trade
We
them for the
love you.
world.
Wouldn't. Sure wouldn't.
Never. Never, never.
Yeah.
All right. Scenario number 2, you say something true, it's accurate, it is true, it is necessary, you got the references and the receipts. And instead of engaging with what you said, someone responds to how you said it. Your
Mm.
tone, your energy, whether you were calm enough.
Mm.
Does that sound familiar, ladies?
Mhm.
Okay.
So, going back to was interesting, like, my mind was just I was focused on and thinking about the workplace, but, Dr. Blair, thank you for bringing in the husband, the piece, because Imma tell you, some I feel like my husband always has something to say about my tone, right?
Mm.
And my face, and I think it goes I love that we're using the terminology editing, because I think that what is happening is that I spend so much time editing throughout the day
Mm.
in
Yeah.
other places, right? I'm
Yeah.
editing at work, or, on the phone, or just, I mean, it could be at the grocery store,
Yep.
I'm editing who I am, my tone, my face, and like, thank you. Although naturally I'm a smiley person and happy and genuinely
Yes.
all around smiley person. But then when I get home, I don't have those muscles in the face ain't working no more.
They tired.
They are
They're
tired.
exhausted.
This
You did a
I'm
CrossFit
exhausted.
workout and it's like they done for the day.
girl.
They need some
Yes.
Epsom salt to just soak.
Girl, we need the Epsom salt, girl, all of that. So I am just so exhausted from the editing. So then when I come home and engage in what have you, Dr. DQ, the pantry situation, or if it's just or just
Crumbs.
anything, just like what we having for dinner, right?
Mhm.
It's like, I can't think, I don't want to think in that moment, right? And so a lot of my feelings and emotions show up on my face at that time,
Mm.
because I am no longer choosing to mask it, because
Mhm.
1, it's a safe space, right? Like, I should be
Supposed to
able
be.
to show my tone, I mean, have the tone that I have and have the
Yeah.
face that I wanna have, and he understand and be understanding of that. So, I
I'm
definitely have
coming
been told that.
I'm coming from the other side, cause to me,
Mm.
tone
Okay.
matters. Tone makes a big
Mm.
difference, and I'm always talking to my husband in talking about it's how you said it or the feelings
Mm.
behind it and the facial expressions, because if I'm trusting you with my heart, with my feelings, I'm in this
Yes.
with you. If you can
Yes.
put that level of caution and energy, if you can do that with other people and refine or edit how you engage with them, why don't I deserve that too?
Yes. Now, Dr. DQ, you right. You are absolutely right, because that is how I do feel, but what exactly I have learned. What I have learned is where you are, and that is absolutely amazing, because I for so long I struggled with that, and I still do, like, I
Mhm.
still struggle with that, but I will say my marriage has been one of the greatest classrooms for that, for
Mm,
me to have that understanding on the communication because he will ask me, "Why is your face like that?" Or, or, "I noticed your face changed." Listen, your face
I'm
changed,
sorry.
your tone shifted, and my first response has been like, "Well, like, so what?" Or, "This is me." Or, really,
Mm,
when I'm genuinely, I am thinking for myself, it's not my intention. That wasn't
yes.
what I intended to say, or I didn't intend to come off that way. And he has, through conversations like you're saying, Dr. DQ, it really helped me to understand, like, you are leaving room for assumptions, I think, when you have a certain tone or certain face or whatever. So you have to put words with it to explain what that is. And you're right. You do, Dr. DQ, and our spouses deserve that
Mhm.
Yeah.
that
But on the flip
information
side,
and
it's
love.
also helpful to hear that perspective to hear like, okay, he's been editing himself all day. Them facial muscles might not be
Mhm.
working no more. So that's helpful too on both sides. So
Mm.
I
no, go ahead.
I was going to add that I can see both sides because I do think that with our partners, we are supposed to be able to extend grace and recognize that it
Mhm.
is supposed to be a safe space. Ideally, for me to be able to not have to tone police and not have to like be in this space of editing with someone who, is my person. And I think that it takes a high level of emotional intelligence and regulation to be able to say, like, ooh, all right. I'm frustrated, I'm tired, I recognize that my anger or frustration is displaced and it's going on this person. Let me and it's not editing maybe in that sense, but let me recognize the relationship and the dynamic and that I need to shift there. And then I
Mhm.
think of Nene Leak, shout out. I said what I said.
Girl.
Right? The root and the core of that is like receive the message. You getting
Ooh,
so
that's
stuck on
good.
the tone and you're not I think about it with the kids when I'm like, "Well, mommy, why you yelling at me?" Cuz I needed you to move cuz something was coming towards you. So I'm not going to be like, "Move, baby." I'm going to say, "Move." Right? For you to get that or for you to feel my sense of apprehension or fear or whatever in the moment. So there's a both and, but I do think that there's a lot of reciprocal grace and work. And I love what you said, Lady B, as far as like your marriage being like the best classroom or teaching space that you can have, because I love that you follow up, Quita, with, "Hey, wh I'm your person, like, the way you speak to me, boo, this it's you forget them, at the end of the day, they can go, I'm here
Yeah,
forever, ever, ever,
Forever,
ever,
ever.
ever, ever."
Okay?
Right? So
Yeah.
I
there's
love
that piece,
that.
and I also love, Lady B, that your husband has follow-up questions, and I think that the way that they're framed is really important, so don't ask me why my face changed, say, like, "I noticed your face changed, what caused that?" Because that's different from why did your face change, or,
And
like,
let
what does
me
that
correct that
mean?
because in case he ever listening, yeah, it is. He does it in a much better way,
I
speaks more
believe it. I
eloquently
believe
than I
it.
put it.
Knowing the person that we know, it's probably
Right.
real. It's real soft.
He
It's,
probably
"Hey."
saying it with a smile too.
Okay, like,
And
Like,
philosophical, like,
I
it's a
believe I
lot.
see a
So then I
shift
just
in the
toned it down for
atmosphere.
that.
And when you upset or tired, you don't even want that softness and that sweetness. It's like,
And
yeah,
you really
it's like, "Man,
don't.
let me be
Like,
in this feeling."
get mad with me.
That part. But there I think that's the beauty of, like, the relationship and how things can shift. Because if people have that level of inquisitiveness to say, like, "I noticed that," inquisitiveness and just perception, "I noticed something shifted.
Mhm,
Your
mhm.
tone, like what you
Yeah.
said, how you're sitting. You're not even looking at me no more. Like, what's going on with you? Like, I'm here." Right? And that can look different in a professional setting versus a personal setting, but that is needed for us to be able to show up and be able to work on ourselves so we're no longer in this space of feeling like, "Man, I'm not supposed to edit with you." Because I've been doing it all day. So I think that there's a lot of teachable
Good.
space there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
so what we've been discussing, y'all, is called that tone policing, where whether it's in your marriage, your relationships, your children, the workplace, that credibility became
Mm,
conditional on how you delivered it. And that goes to the point too, like, I heard what you said, but
Mm.
because of how you said it, I didn't hear you.
Okay.
In one ear and out the other, on purpose,
Yes.
because I didn't
On
like how you
purpose.
said that to
Yes.
me.
Yeah, that's good.
One more I'll throw your way, is anger, like, that actual anger
Mm.
is a signal, and when you find yourself angry, you realize that a boundary has been crossed, a value was violated, an expectation was broken. That is not dysfunction, it's actually gonna be information, so I want y'all to realize this, and this might be hard to really receive, but anger is actually neutral. It's what you do in it that determines the outcome. But
Mm.
the feeling itself is not a problem. It's okay to be angry.
Yes.
Dr. Blaire, I know that I've seen you work with your son and he had his faces and you'd be like, look in the mirror and tell me what
Yes.
emotion you're feeling. And he
Yes.
would just put that pout right up to the mirror and he would identify it as anger. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But it's
Mhm.
what you do in it. The problem is that you're labeled before you even get to express it.
Yeah.
So y'all know us beautiful Black women, our neutral
Mhm.
faces sometimes are hostile. Okay, RBF, anybody? RBF. Aunties,
They're
if y'all don't know what
hostile.
that is, just look it up.
Ha
Ask somebody
have
else what a
Yes.
RBF is. I'm not gonna say it.
Yes.
have
But
y'all ever been told that you have RBF?
I've been told.
I tell myself, I
Mm,
know it. I know I do, and sometimes it's on
mm,
purpose because I don't know you. I don't want to engage with you. I'm not interested in you talking to me. Now, I don't do that with people I
Mhm.
know and I like and I love.
mm.
But them strangers, baby, keep walking. "Hey, how you doing? I know I live in the South. Hey, how you doing? Bye. I'm on the move. I got somewhere to go." RBF, for real.
Yeah, okay.
But
I
sometimes
don't
that
know.
stereotype is just
Mhm.
applied before you even open up your mouth.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to call out those scenarios so that we can really zone in on what it is that we're talking about today. So I'm sure that everybody listening can relate to at least one of those scenarios, if not every single one. If you're like me, I don't know.
Mhm.
But y'all, it's not just you; it's all of us. So let's talk about how the three of us have actually lived this experience.
Yes. From our lives to the podcast. So I want us to share from our own. And I'm thinking about specifically an incident with me where someone told me to calm down when I started asking questions and trying to get clarity and started to like engage in problem solving in real time. And when I say y'all, it was like a light switch, just like flick, instantly irritated.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's it.
Instantly. It don't
Cause in
take
my
much for me,
mind,
baby.
I'm like, for anybody that don't know, telling a Black woman to calm down is like instant gasoline.
The worst.
Yes.
The worst. And I am a very direct and emotionally expressive person. And when you think about cultural society, emotional expressiveness is not the cultural norm. When you think about professionalism, they want you to be reserved emotionally. Emotional reservation is considered like the standard. Like that's how we want people to present and how that ain't me. So when I'm excited about something, my volume goes up.
Mhm,
I talk with my hands. I
mhm,
present with my
mhm,
hands. You're going to get all of this. And
mhm.
so being told to calm down,
No, he
mm,
didn't.
it's a problem. And I hate the fact that my questions, that expressiveness I have, my passion, my interest in the situation is confused with a lack of calm. They're like
Mm.
directly connected for some reason when it comes to certain people. So I want to engage us ladies. You know, I don't want everybody, I don't want us to leave this podcast like mad. And we're going to get centered. We're going to get y'all grounded. In my mind, the listeners are like, oh yes, yes, that's me. That's me. And you're probably thinking of a friend too. And if you are, go ahead, pause this, take the link, and go ahead and send this and share this with somebody right now. Cause there's a sis, there's a bruh, there's somebody you know that need this. So go on here, cause we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna bring it together at the end of this. Y'all know this is what we do. So come on. Go ahead, pause it. Okay, come on back. So I want to ask you ladies, Lady V and Dr. DQ, have you had any similar experiences in which someone tried to tell you what you were feeling or that you were over exaggerating your tone, your response in a situation and kind of what came up for you within that?
So I will start. I feel like I know it's happened, but coming up with a really specific situation for myself, I can't think of one. But again, because it's probably happened so long ago, it's so ingrained that it's just not coming back to my memory. But it does remind me of a situation with a former supervisor of mine. We were at a retreat. We were off site. It was like a 3-day retreat, something fun, just out of the norm. We get to reset what we're doing for the year and kind of vision, do that long term planning. So the first day, this was my first time on the team, my first retreat. So I had been on the team for a couple of months and I was asking questions. Oh, it's a safe space, ask questions, da da da. Da. So I asked questions. Day
Come
two,
on.
she got a little smart and she
Oh,
did her spiel like, "Oh, yeah, if you have any questions, just ask questions, right, Darquita?"
yeah.
Wait a minute. Say it with your chest if you're gonna say it. This I'm telling y'all. It would
Oh
look
my
so
gosh.
different if people would be big, bad, and bold and just say it. What you trying to say, ma'am? Sir?
Well, yeah, because where she act up is where Imma act up, but I did so professionally. I said, "Well, that was rude," and it
Good for
mouth
you.
wide open. And she was like, What?" I said, "That you're insinuating that I was asking too many questions, even
Mm.
though you said to ask like, you don't want us to ask questions." Girl, she kept moving right along with the agenda. "Thank you, because 'cause I'm not the one, not yesterday, today, or tomorrow." Okay?
She
I
had no
love it.
response? Nothing.
What could she
Because
say?
it was in front of
People don't do
everybody.
well.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It
People
you gon
don't do
Where you
well.
act up is where I act up, so if you wanted
Come
to say
on.
that in front of everybody, but I was polite. We ain't had no issues. I kept my job. Ain't nothing come from it.
Praise. Okay, and receive that, listeners, because I don't want y'all leaving here on some Yes Work podcast said if you gonna act up, then don't don't try to reframe and use that in the wrong context
Correct.
because Dr. DQ still got her job.
It was polite, it was professional,
Yes.
it was to the point we were able to move along. But I will tell y'all about something that happened to some of my coworkers, my old coworkers, not my current coworkers, but a previous group I worked with. And this is hearsay, but I think it's very relevant. This is their recounting of the situation. They were in a room working jovial. They got along. They had a great time. There was a newer member to the team who was a Black woman also. And I don't know what she was used to. She was not from the area, but she told them, she said, "Oh, y'all too happy, too loud, and too Black.
Ooh.
Help."
Yo, this episode too much for me.
I was like, "No, she didn't." They say, "Yes. Yes, she
Whoa.
did." From
Yo.
someone who looks like them.
We've internalized it. We have. The stereotypes, the stigmas that people have around Black women, the Black culture in general, as far as how we express ourselves and being loud and being arrogant, all the like you hear it enough, you see it enough, you begin to internalize it. And it's sad that you would just
Mm,
say that to ooh, here
I
we
was like,
are.
"Oh,"
Hell,
and never mind. Yeah.
you got
That was a
another one?
while
It sounds
ago.
like you got another one.
No, I don't. That
Oh,
was a while
okay.
ago. All I could say is the spiral it sent to one of my coworkers in as a Black woman who not young, but also not old, right? Like, she's a little older than we are. But the
Mhm.
spiral it sent her in and the composure she had to maintain, which again, on subject here where you have to compose yourself and edit yourself so that you can
Mhm.
function for the rest of the day and keep your job. But the spiral she went, baby, that phone call that afternoon. Ooh, y'all know how y'all know some people and it's like, ooh, your mama can cuss. Child, when I tell you that coworker was on like the spiral and I just had to
Mm.
listen because
Yeah,
It's
that
hard.
had to be a safe space. Because
yeah.
this lady still had to go to work the next day and still work right alongside this person who told her she was being too Black.
Wow. That
Wow.
can I just wanna say God is good because,
Because my
girl,
coworker was delivered and she wasn't who she used to be,
Hallelujah.
okay?
It make a
God is
difference.
good. And God is good because I've never encountered a situation like that or similar
Mm.
to that, and I will say I have to recognize and show appreciation to the work environments and places that I have been a part of because I have not encountered those things directly, right? I have heard I've heard the stories and I feel like God has kept me because he knows like, yes, I'm nice. I am nice, but don't cross me. Like I don't
I
want
know. I done
I
seen it.
don't need we don't need no problem.
Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Don't start, that won't be nothing. So maybe they already they see I don't know what it is, but I'm covered. So
Hallelujah.
I don't have that. Nobody has told me to calm down or try some little sly remarks. But I will say it's interesting because as I'm thinking about some personal experiences that I could
Mhm.
share as Dr. DQ was talking, I'm like, oh, you know what? Something did happen recently at the gym with my fitness instructor, girl. And I love her. I do. I really do. But we had a moment because I don't have a lot of I don't typically have a lot of tension and conflict with people. But this one particular day, I am doing my stretches, and you have a particular area to do your stretches and things like that. And the wall was full. There was not really a place for me to do my stretches. So I did it near a piece of equipment, but it was still in the same area. So she came up and, she was like, girl, you need to move. And I
Who
was like,
is girl?
move. She does say girl all the time. Like, hey girl, girl, everything's girl. But I didn't like that was the tone, right? So she said, girl, you need to move. I was like, again, I gave her some grace at that moment. I'm like, okay, well, move where? Right? Because I'm showing the space is full. Like I'm doing my warm up here because I couldn't go over there. And she's like, "No, I don't want you here." And again, like, "Wait, sis, like what?" She was like, "No, I just don't want you in front of the equipment." I'm like, "Okay." Well, I go to explain, like, again, I'm here working out, like, we're doing this going back and forth. And she was like, "You know what? Like, you could just go do this. If you don't wanna do this today, you can just go work out, on your own or something." Like I said, "Wait a second. What are you talking about? Are you okay?" She said, "No, are you okay?"
Wait a
I
minute,
said,
because we can go. We can't go because we saved and sanctified.
"Glory be to God." I said, "Something ain't right."
Y'all know I'm on the spectrum. I'm somewhere between hood and holy. Where's she at?
Because I was taken aback because I was like, "Wait, I ain't never had nobody, like, come for me like that." So I was like, "No, seriously, like, what is going on?" So, you know what? It came down to, like, she read into my tone from the beginning that I had this attitude with her that when asked her, "Is she alright?" I genuinely meant, like, "Are you okay?" Not I won't trying to be funny, like, "Are you"
I woulda
like,
been.
I was like,
Quita.
it's like,
You
she was
alright?
reading all into it. And so I was just like, wow. We eventually had a really good conversation because I wasn't going to keep working out with you and this like tension going on. So we had a really good talk, but it was still like, wow, like how people just perceive your tone, your body language, your response, just because she ultimately felt like I wanted to do my own thing and I was challenging her because I wanted to do my warm up in this area. Again, hello, lady. The space is full. And why are we talking about this? Why does this even matter? Right. So that was that. Hmm.
Go do.
What year is it? Because whatever year this happened, I promise that would not have been my response.
Oh, you get it too, baby.
Wow.
Oh, lordy.
I think that just speaks to how it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy as far as responding to people. Because I felt like you had this tone or you had an
Hmm.
attitude with me, I'm going to then meet you with this attitude. And I think that
Yeah.
just speaks to the emotional intelligence and regulation that's needed to be able to say, and the wild part is you did that. Lady B was
Hmm.
like, "What's going on? Like, what's wrong? Like, this is not you. I can tell something is going on. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on with you?" But because I've already assigned you as having an attitude with me or being angry with me, well, you can get this hot fire. What? So there's an ability, right? There's a skill and a competency that is needed to be able to move past your assumption and whatever narrative you've created and still meet people with grace. And it's a competency that I'm still trying to build.
Mm,
Mhm.
yes.
I think that's
We
important
all
that the
are.
listeners hear that, right? Because I think that you may listen to us and, oh, this is what I aspire to be. We die daily. Hey,
Okay.
Yeah.
still works in progress as far as what we're doing and how we're coming off and how we are modeling and glorifying God and being a representation of him because ooh child, that situation right there.
I can't even imagine what Dr. Blaire I done seen Dr. Blaire say
Woo!
something to somebody one time who did much less.
Sad part is, you all, I know exactly what situation. It was a long, long time ago, listeners.
Oh,
But
Lord.
even, you know what's wild? To this day, I still feel like ick around the comment I made and how I interacted with that person. I was like, who
Oh.
was
And
I
you have
at that
always been
time?
remorseful, I guess, for that encounter. But
Yeah.
again, that just illustrates the growth,
Yes.
okay?
Thank you, Lord, for
That
the growth.
the growth.
You know, this is actually, I want to lead us into another question because I think that sometimes we can mistake emotional numbness for maturity. Like, I've grown past that. I don't even respond to that, but we still have the feelings, right? The anger, the
Mhm.
frustration, the whatever, but you just stop letting yourself feel it or express it. And I'm just wondering, have y'all ever been in the space of recognizing like, I'm not being emotionally mature right now. I'm closed
Mhm.
off. I'm being numb to this. I'm not going to engage with this cuz I think that's a hard line.
Yeah, that's that
Yeah.
suppression. I typically only feel that after an argument with my husband, right? Where I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not. It's not, I feel like it's not worth my time. It's not worth the energy. But when in hindsight, reality, it is. It needs to be
Yeah.
discussed. It needs to be
Yeah.
shared. We need to be on the same page so we don't encounter this same issue again, right? So, but a lot of the times early, especially early on in my relationship, it was like, I'm gonna just shut down. I'm gonna shut down. I'm gonna isolate. I'm gonna suppress all the feelings I have and be in my journal like, "Ugh, I can't stand you, and make notes and dates so I can go back to it. So if we're in an argument, I can know on
Girl,
this
not
date
you
this
with a
happened.
reference line and a
Yes,
I love it. She
citation.
yes.
got all the receipts.
Got
That's
all the receipts.
good.
Got to. But yeah, that's where I would say I experienced it.
And I would agree also with Lady B when something is said a certain way or I hear it a certain way, right? Because the way he said it might not match how I heard it with
Mhm.
my husband. And so then I don't engage at that moment in time because of XYZ. I just have something else going on, or I don't have the energy, or I just need to get the kids situated or something like that. I have to be intentional about going back and unpacking it with myself first before
Mhm.
engaging in that
Right.
conversation with him because I don't want to get caught up in the fluff and the he said, she said. Like, let me get to the root of why it bothered me before I discuss it with my husband because it could be feelings, right? It could be very, very valid about something that he said and how it made me feel. But let me get clear with myself before I engage in this discussion because sometimes people engage in conversations to quote win the argument instead of really getting to the meat of it. So I have done like Lady B before where I've like shut down, don't worry about it. I'm fine.
Fine. It's okay.
Don't worry about it. I got it. And that was not feeling it. And so then I'm trying to back up now and say, okay, I'm not going to engage right away. Let me
Mhm.
unpack it for
That's
myself
good.
so I can come level headed and have a conversation with husband.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how Dr. DQ is the goal. Like I, for years, have appreciated and been in awe of how Dr. DQ communicates and just the relate, like what I look like sitting down and thinking about my reaction and reflecting first and then coming back to the let me say I'm a great stonewaller, y'all. I'm a brick builder. I be bop, dop, 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 like stacking bricks on bricks on bricks on bricks on bricks. I'm like, oh, this wall all the way up, all the way up. So work for me, but that is the goal, to be able to, like, let me sit, let me reflect, let me see where they were coming from, where I was coming from, and then revisit the conversation.
Mhm.
It's taking
I
time and practice. And because honestly, just for a moment of transparency, sometimes I'll hear something that's said and it'll trigger something else, but I can't recall in the moment what that something else is. And so then I
explain that
can
with people.
reflect, unpack, and be like, okay, let me connect it to this other conversational experience and just flesh out how I'm feeling so I know exactly what to bring to my husband. So that little moment of stepping back and reflection, it unpacks, but then it also helps me connect to previous conversations.
Yeah.
It's a goal. That's a
So
goal.
then I have like my stance, like this is what I'm
Mm.
feeling, this is what I'm seeing, this is why, because there's gonna be an underlining theme between those experiences, whatever it pulled up or whatever it made me recall from a past situation.
That's actually that's amazing to just hear it articulated, because I think I try to do that in saying, like, this is a deeper issue. Like, you think I'm upset about this one thing, but there's a bigger underlying issue and I
Yes.
can't get that out
Yes.
because I'll be missing that
'Cause
part where I'm
you be
supposed to
ready,
reflect on
and I be
myself.
ready too,
Sheesh.
but I'm like, "That's not gonna help nobody," and
Yep.
I'm also trying to be
Yep.
extremely cautious of how I bring this stuff up, especially if my kids are within earshot.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. I am a little better when they a little bit.
well, I've told my husband, I said, "Your kids save you."
They might as well have a cape on, let me tell you. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
And I think that they're also a blessing to us because they allow us to model to them what we hope they will then do when they're having interactions with
right,
another, right? So
right.
it gives us the opportunity to say, okay, you're being viewed, they're listening, they're how would you want them to respond?
Thank
What do you want to reflect? So yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm sure
Mm.
my husband would say it goes the other way too, where our children have tempered his approach. So yeah,
Mhm.
y'all, that's one of the benefits, one of the many benefits of having children.
Mhm.
Yes, go have kids, y'all. Go have kids. Oh, goodness. That was good, y'all. Okay.
So, y'all, ultimately, we're able to see this pattern, right? But if you haven't seen the pattern yet, come on into my cultural corner and let me share a few more instances, okay? So, I'm going to start with Monique, the auntie comedian who has been very public about her feud with Tyler Perry and Oprah. She said what she said. She has stood her ground, but she's still constantly labeled as angry or bitter or all of these other assumptions that people make about her because she is sticking to her story and sticking to what, from her perspective, the root issue is. I'm also going to mention Serena Williams. She spoke up and advocated for herself against an umpire at a match. And at times
Mhm.
she broke her racket. Even though others have done it, she's the one labeled as an angry black woman. When she shows the same amount of passion and self
Yes.
advocacy that
Yes.
other people have that don't look like her, she's labeled as angry.
And that's one of the many struggles, right,
Mhm.
of the Black woman. Because I'm sure there are times where there have been other injustices and she's really tapered and edited because she knows that if she do it,
Yep,
even
Yep.
though Sarah did it just 2 weeks ago, she's gonna have a very different
yes.
That's right.
outcome than they have.
Mhm.
That's heavy. That's a burden that I don't want anybody to have that. That's ridiculous.
And then there's also controlling what's on the inside before it comes out. Now, this might be my
Mm.
favorite piece of
Mhm.
the cultural corner, but let's go back all the way back to 2024, September, the presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, baby. And when I tell you Kamala Harris was mid statement, passionate, she was in her flow and almost used her favorite adult word. She had to censor herself. Granted, she had to because, there's a time and a place. But baby, that self-control kicked in quick. She couldn't just do what she wanted to do. So we can see these
Yeah.
patterns right in our faces. It's ingrained in the culture and not just in our individual lives. So, of course, there's the angry Black woman. That stereotype is often applied preemptively. You can be calm, non threatening, but still perceived as such. The second pattern, just calling it out, respectability is not a guarantee. There's a huge facade that if you are respectable, if
Come
you
on.
dress right, you speak right, you never complain, that you're going to be protected.
And that ain't
The
true.
lie detector determined that was a lie for
Mm.
Black women. Okay? Have my little Mari
Yeah.
moment.
Yes.
And then, of course, that workplace emotional performance. That's the third pattern that I just want to call out with these emotional micro behaviors. So, a
Mm.
lot of times as professionals, we write in our emails, oh, we're just checking in. I
Checking.
hope this email finds you well. We don't
Oh,
care.
that's a good one.
I mean, I hope you all right, but I don't have to put I probably don't care. And usually we write that to temper whatever's coming next, right? Now there's an I don't always not care. Sometimes I do care. I really do hope this email finds you because I ain't talked to you in a minute. But sometimes I throw it on there real thick and the emojis that are super popular now. Say it with a smile, you throw an emoji at the end, it softens everything. And sometimes we also lead with an apology. I'm sorry, I just want to say, or I might be overthinking this, but stop. Say what you're gonna
Please.
say. Stand on business. Keep your job though. Don't lose your job. So work on that.
I want to speak to that one because I remember having the privilege of working and being the supervisor of a number of Black women. I had to acknowledge that apology piece because people, Blair, I'm sorry. And whenever it was one of my sisters, please stop apologizing. Use other language. Hey, I appreciate your grace with this delayed response, or I appreciate you taking. There's so many ways that we can say and put it back on the person, right? So I don't have to apologize because I had competing priorities, or because I had this personal issue I had to tend to, or because whatever it may be. But
Mhm.
like, our go to is to apologize in order
Yeah.
to soften how we land for people, and we say sorry way too much. Way too much, Black women. Stop. Find other language other than I'm sorry this is late. I'm sorry this is I
I've
appreciate your grace
I've even said
in
that
me sending
to
this.
non-Black women. I've said that to
Yeah,
white women.
that's
Stop. What are
good.
you apologizing for?
Yeah. For
They'll
what?
be like, "I'm sorry, but no, 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 go delete that because you didn't do this.
Come
Delete
on.
it."
Take ownership for the stuff that you actually need to take ownership of, right?
Mhm.
Like, ooh.
Well, the last pattern that I wanna call out is the wellness contradiction. This
Mm.
is where we're told or led to believe that we can show up as our true selves, but really we can't, right? Not the way we want to, not with our level of intensity, not with our tone, not with our personality, and it's truly a contradiction. So the contradiction is not an accident. It really just maintains the expectation that some people's authenticity is welcome, and for some of us, it's not.
It needs to be said. She said it.
Okay, Dr. DQ. Thank you for the truth moments. Oh my gosh, ladies, sis, find another way to say I'm sorry. And you know what? Y'all speaking to me on this. So it's definitely good. So let's just take a moment to just a deep sigh because whoop, it was after all of that, we need just a little more Jesus. We need the
Hey,
word.
Erica
Yeah.
Campbell up in here. Just a little more
Woo,
Jesus.
just a little more Jesus. So, all right, listeners, some of us were handed a version of Christianity that told women to suppress, right? Like we've been talking about this suppression. We're told that we need to endure, and somehow we are calling it virtue. And so I just want to kind of share a little something different, another way for us to think about this. In the scripture, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26, one of our favorite disciples, Paul writes, he says, be angry and do not sin. Be angry and do not sin. So, one of my favorite things about this verse is what it doesn't say. It doesn't say, don't be angry, sis. It doesn't say, women of God, you should never feel frustrated. It doesn't say keep smiling all the time. God already knows what we're experiencing. He already knows the emotions that we're feeling. He is teaching us how to steward it, how to govern it, how to show it. Because anger isn't something that's automatically sinful. Sometimes anger will tell us a boundary has been crossed. Sometimes it exposes injustice, okay, Kamala?
Mhm.
Sometimes it reveals hurt that still needs to be healed. So the emotion really isn't the problem. It's what we choose to do with that emotion that matters, right? So another scripture, Psalm 139 says, and that's where I love David has his prayer in Psalm 139, and it says, search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. I don't know how many of y'all are asking to be tested, but
Come on.
try it. Search me, oh God, and know my
Yes.
heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Woo! Try that. Try that prayer. Because I find myself praying it more often now than not. That Lord, just show me what I'm communicating that I didn't even realize what I'm communicating.
Mhm.
Right. So that goes back to what we were talking about with our husbands in just our past conversations. If you're the one you saying you sorry, but what does that say about you? You keep saying I'm sorry, right? So you're not even realizing what you're communicating, what that gives off. God, show me if my frustration is really exhaustion.
Oh.
Just a side note, because the last 2 weeks, or it was like last week, I had just been really frustrated, not understanding, like, why am I so upset? Why am I so bothered? And ultimately, I took a day just to rest, just to be. And I realized, like, oh my God, I'm just tired. I still love my husband. I
Yeah,
still love
Praise the
my
Lord.
girl, you a mess. Of course you do. I'm
I
so
love
proud of you,
it.
girl. I'm so
but
glad you
I'm
took
just
that day.
tired, right? And so many of us are so tired because we're carrying so much of the expectations that people place on you that you place on yourself. And so sis, you exhausted. So I pray, show me if my silence is actually hurt. How many of us, like, we go into isolation? Are you hurt? So, what are we going to do about that? What is that silence really? Where's that coming from? Also, Lord, show me if my facial expression is revealing something my heart hasn't processed yet.
Lord, pray for my faith.
Good. Y'all,
That's a
I've been
good
meditating
one.
on these because really has you do some deep soul reflection, some inner work, some inner healing, right? My facial expression, it could be revealing something my heart has not processed yet. So, like Dr. DQ said, she got to go and sit with it. Go sit with it. Go sit with what's on your heart before just blah, 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 just letting it come out. Like Lady B, because I told y'all episodes ago, I need to work on my tongue, that I am in a much better place. Amen. So I really just think that the difference between, when we're talking about the suppressing emotion and surrendering emotion, suppression really is saying that I can't feel this. And surrender is telling us God is here. God hears exactly how I feel. Help me to steward it. Show me the way. Show me what to do with all the issues or whatever it is I'm
Mhm.
carrying. He never asked us to become emotionally invisible. He is simply asking us to bring every single emotion to him so he can shape it instead of letting it shape us. So,
Now Imma
some of my
tell you.
greatest growth. Yes.
Imma tell you, it's times that I am in a situation or something has been said, and I look up at the Lord like, "Lord, what am I supposed to do with this?"
Come on and talk
I
to
do,
him.
Lord, "What is this?
Talk to
What am I
him.
supposed to do?" But that just
Ooh.
make
That's
me
good.
yeah. 'Cause that just made what you said just made me think about that. Sure did.
He is shaping. Let him shape us. Let him shape us. So I was just gonna end with, just my greatest growth as I've been reflecting. It's not coming from the strangers. It's not coming from people at work trying to correct me, trying to tell me about my tone. And it doesn't come from that. It comes from the people who love me enough to help me see myself more clearly. It comes from the people who love me, who want me to be better, who want to tell me, "No, Lady B, you don't have to take that, right? Or you don't have to apologize. Find another word for that." So just meditate on that. Think on that.
Thank you, Lady B. Those prayers, I think, can be extremely influential and powerful as far as how people will reframe a situation and how they'll bring God into a situation where he been there, but you just ain't been calling on him and activating his strength in those moments. So I think that this just allows us to kind of see where we are right now. So if you've been identifying with a number of the things that we've shared, if you did that pause and you sent this to someone, I think there's an important moment of reflection here because there's a difference between someone whose emotional suppression is disproportionate to the situation as opposed to someone who has been suppressing for so long that when they finally feel something, maybe that thing comes out loud and probably louder than what was initially intended. One of those, a regulation problem. The other one is a depletion problem. It has to do with how long have you been editing your emotions, your tone within certain situations. And for a lot of us, we're misdiagnosed. We out here, we're the angry Black person, we're the angry woman, we're whatever. And it is because of the level of exhaustion that we have surrounding having to navigate this world that ain't always made for us. It's important that we identify the fact that God can handle your full humanity. He got angry, you can be angry too. What you do with that anger is what's really important. You don't have to sanitize yourself to be received by Him. Baby, listen, I be like, "Hey, Jesus." I say good morning to him. I say good night. He is my friend. We are friends. So that policing in a sense that we have to do with our partners, with our spouses, with our children, you can go to him. And I want to go back to what Lady B said as far as being able to say to God, "I'm disappointed with you." Woo! That was powerful to hear that she has that level of closeness with him because he wants that and desires that from us and present a certain version of ourselves. And you don't have to do that with him. You have permission to feel. You were born with it. He blessed you with all of the emotions, the spectrum of emotions. So reflect on what emotion have you made unacceptable in yourself? Do you allow yourself to be frustrated, annoyed, angry? I have to check myself many times when like my daughter is in this lovey dovey, I want to hug on you and feel on you. And I'm like, I don't want to be touched. And I'm like, ooh, she's so annoying right now. Right? Am I allowed to feel that or do I give myself guilt and shame around it? I can let you know I do because I
Mhm.
feel bad about it whenever I think about it. But I'm allowed to feel that. How does it manifest? How do I actualize that? How do I communicate? Like, hey, baby, I don't want to be touched right now. Your mama hot. She having a hot flash. Give her some space. I got to be able to say it.
Yeah.
Who benefits from your silence? Think about that. When you put your brick wall up, stacks on racks, who is benefiting from that? It's not helping you. I think Lady B gave us some really great insight into how you can reflect on what that silence is really saying about how you feel about the experience. And then the other one I would offer is just what would regulated honesty, not reckless, but regulated and real honesty actually look like in your life? How could you respond the beautiful way that Dr. DQ does when she reflects and then she actually follows up. You a strong Black woman. Follows up with her husband to say like, hey, let's talk about what we just experienced, right? What would it look like, right, for you to regulate honestly like Lady B did with the personal trainer and say like, hey, what's going on with you? I noticed you showing up differently because people like me are still working on it. But think about what it would look like, listener, for you in your life.
All right, so this being the Yes Work podcast, of course, we're going to give you some yes statements for this week based on the conversation we've had today. So repeat after me. Yes, I can feel deeply and lead well. Pause if you need to. Yes, I can be honest and still be professional. Hello. Yes, I do not owe emotional invisibility.
That's a good one.
And yes, my emotions deserve language. Pause, run it back 15 seconds, and repeat as needed to get through this week.
I love these yes statements. I'm going to say them myself in the mirror, I think, this week. So that's good. So, listeners, we want to remind you, you do not become more worthy by becoming easier to consume. I'm going to let that sink in. That's the word for today. If you know a woman in your life, doesn't matter, Nana, auntie, sis, your daughter. If you know a woman in your life who has been editing herself down, she needs to hear this. So please hit pause right now, copy the link, and text it to one person. That's our challenge this week, along with your yes statement, along with stop saying sorry, along with some other things.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right, but we
Yes.
want you to share it. Share the link, share this message to someone who needs to hear it because I don't think that a lot of women, Black women, we're not having these conversations. We're not having these in-depth, real conversations. I know we went a little long on this episode today, but it was good information that was needed, that you needed to hear. And so we want to plant the seed, and we're asking that you continue to plant the seed, spread the word so that everyone can continue to not beat themselves up, not carry that guilt because it's killing us. So we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to this community. So go ahead, text it, share it. Until then, we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the YesWork podcast.
Bye.
Bye.